Welcome back to another Reading and Correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing chapter 36 of The Technician's Fight. The Earther before him was thinner than he remembered him. Then he remembered. And this is actually going to be Jeremy. Then Jeremy remembered and seemed tired, but he smiled. I knew this would work. I knew that if I provided the right bait, you and your cats wouldn't be able to stay away. Omar Sawan looked around Jeremy. I had given instruction to be sure you came alone, though. The snort let Jeremy cover some of his confusion behind anger. Like I'd ever be around Earthers again without people to look after me. I'd look out for you, Omar Sawan said, sounding surprised. Jeremy rolled his eyes and wished he could do ear code so he could ensure the others didn't intervene. So long as Omar Sawan was talkative, he might be able to figure out what was going on. What happened to you, Omar Sawan? What do you mean? Jimmy motioned around them, but that didn't seem to help. Kidnapping and torturing Federation civilian? Well, he replied, sounding offended. Did you think anyone would let me continue looking for you if all I told them was that I needed to bring you back? I had to give them a whole lot more after you and your cats destroyed all that equipment. Do you have any idea how millions of dollars in research you two ruined? Oh, okay. Okay, he is going singular because... Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay, so this was not me making a mistake. I give a whole lot more after you and your cat destroyed all that equipment. Do you have any idea how many millions of dollars in research you two ruined? If you mean when my heart and my friends rescued me from your torture? No, I don't. You made sure I was utterly out of it. Where are the merchants? What merchants? The one you had kidnapped to lure me here? Oh, the cats. They're being prepared for the next batch of experiments. But don't worry, the machine works perfectly fine on us already. I made sure the focus was on working out the bugs in it before inviting you over. This time, you won't feel a thing. What experiment? He asked, instead of addressing the real threat. The Earther seemed to have trouble with the question for a few seconds. Oh, well, the experiment to have the machine work on them, of course. If we're going to cure everyone, we need to make sure it works without fault. Cure everyone of what? The sickness, of course. Do you realize that every species out there has it? They all think that what you have is somehow natural? He shuddered. Once you're cured, you can help me with them too. Are you fucking insane? You think I'm going to willingly put myself in that machine again? Let you take everything I care about from me? Jeremy, don't call me that. You lost that right when you betrayed our friendship, if there ever was one. I am your friend, the Earther replied, confused. I've always been your friend. I'm the only one who's ever cared about you, Don't you fucking say my name. Do you think I would have done all this if I wasn't the best friend you could have? All this is for you and just for you. Someone moved, someone from the special op packs. Don't, the Earther warned. If you all stay away, or I'm giving the order to have all these people killed. All these innocent civilians killed. Stay back, Jeremy said. Let me deal with them. The Earther smiled like Jeremy had agreed to go out with him. And the realization what kind of man would do something so horrible even in the... and he realized what kind of man would do something so horrible? Even in the comedies they watched as a group, people doing a horrible thing in the name of love was popular. Although, like now, it it usually turned out to be in the name of obsession. How did he reconcile them? Those feelings he thought he had for Jeremy that ran contrary to the belief a man couldn't love another man. Had he really convinced himself best friend was the extent of these feelings? Still, he needed more information if they were to rescue everyone here. I'm not saying I'm agreeing to this, but just to be clear, I go with you and you release everyone here to my friends? I can't do that. So all that talk about this being just for so all that talk of this just being an excuse so you could get me back is what? Bullshit? No, I never do that to you. I care too much, but it's not like I can get them out of these pods and send them on their way. Why not? The Earther sighs. Do you have any how complex the mind is? Any mind? We were lucky that the machine seemed to have been designed to work on our minds, and it took decades to get reliable results, let alone specific ones we needed. It's ludicrous the number of soldiers the military turned into insane killing machine in their quest for a perfectly controlled soldiers. He kept the fear out of his voice through pure willpower. What did you do to these people? I told you, we're trying to cure them, but we aren't there yet. So their minds aren't, well, I wouldn't want them moving around. But don't worry, once we've perfected the process, I can undo the damage and they'll be better than you. They'll be cured. And you want to put me through that thing? I told you, we perfected it, and it will even make you forget all the anger the cats have directed at me. We will be best friends again. You'll see. We are going to have the best time together. Fuck you, Omar. Come on, Jeremy. No need to be crude and suggest something so unnatural. Jeremy laughed. I don't know if I need to feel sorry for you or horrified that you have deluded yourself so much that you don't realize you think you're in love with me. I love you like a brother. Like the best friend I remember you being. Jimmy read the tension on the Earther's face, the way his fists were clenched. So that's how? You've convinced someone would destroy. You've convinced someone would destroy other people's mind for a brother. You're convinced someone would destroy other people's mind for a brother? A best friend? You, Dr. Omar Sawan, are sick. Please, Jeremy, come back. I promise that I'll always be at your side. You'll never have to worry about being alone. I wouldn't want to be with you if you were the last fucking person left in the universe. He punched the male hard enough that he landed on the floor and didn't get up. Someone needs to go over the station's record, he said in his comm. We need evidence this was sanctioned by the Earther government. Something on this scale is going to keep them locked in their territory for good. You're forgetting your rank, Hunter. The Special Ops Beta replied. But I'm sending actually not people, it's hunters. Hunters to pull everything from the servers, everything the servers contain. A look at Thur confirmed he would hear about this once the hunt was over, and he was okay with it. We have civilians to rescue, Isbeta said, and Jimmy walked over the unconscious Earther to head further into the territory, into the aura chamber that this place was, with the at his back. The two guards looking after the scientific staff were the only troubled the tired hunters encountered, but were subdued without casualty. And no, that's a but. But were subdued without casualty. The staff didn't offer resistance, and the 18 Kelsirians they'd come to rescue were whole but sedated. Jer, I need you to get one of those things disconnected. Thur instructed, indicating one of the sleeker chair and helmet. If that's what was used on the people in the pods, we need to study it. Instead of going to one of the machines, Jeremy headed for the scientist. Which one was used? Which one was used on the others? If they need to make alteration to get everything to get it to affect non-Earther mind, they wouldn't have been willing to put an Earther in it. Then, when no one talked, he stepped closer and unsheathed his claws. I'm not having a good day. How about you don't make yourself someone caught in the crossfire? Any of them except 7 and 8. A woman asked. Are they all the same stage of modification? She shook her head. That meant they'd want all of them, if only to work out the progress, but which one is the closest to the results you're looking for? Number 5. Start with that one. Then he and the others could disconnect the rest and bring them back to the Bane. It wasn't like moving all those pods would be quick. If I don't need to quickly. He found the tools and set to work. Once done, he needed someone to carry the helmet while he carried the hardware that let it do its horrible work. If not for the people studying them could save, he'd destroy all. He'd destroy everything without hesitation. 8 of the 18 merchants were conscious by the time he was done, and they needed to help with the rest when Thur gave the order to move out. The medics were out of medication to wake them, and they weren't touching Earther meds. Okay. I need to make some alterations here. All right. By the time he was done, by the time he was done, 8 of the 18 were conscious. Only 8 of the 18 were conscious. Scientists. Da, 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 Okay. Who's there? Uh, the shuttle. All right. So by the time he was done, only 8 of the 18 merchants were unconscious. The scientists had run out of the Kelsirian-tested stimulant, and the hunters wouldn't let them use Earther rated ones. He handed the helmet to a hunter when Thur gave. Okay, yeah, there's no comma here. When Thur gave the order to return to the shuttle, while he carried the hardware that made it work, that let it work, that made it work. Um, Jeremy cursed when Omar wasn't where he'd fallen. I should have tied him up, he complained. He could have told us who paid for all of this. Eureka will get that information from the server. They won't. They won't resist her. Still want him to pay for this. All these people. He wouldn't have been able to proclaim his innocence. With all these people, he wouldn't have been able to proclaim his innocence, even if he'd even try. Sure, there will be consequence for our shutting this down, Thur said. You will pay. It would be more satisfying if it was at my hand. Isbeta gave him a look Jeremy couldn't interpret, then shook his head. We have the scientists. They can pay for this before the Federation. After they help us understand this thing, someone said. Beta Zorfiel Frasgor Milan, we are ready to head to the shuttle with the rescued and prisoners of our own. What's the status of on your path? The Earthers aren't going by. Okay. There we go. That's way clearer. I must have been tired when I wrote this. The Earthers have stopped following the sensor feed we're feeding them, she replied, so we can't keep them out of your way. But they can't talk among each other, so they can't talk among each other, don't have sense to follow, and we know where they all are, so we can guide you away from most of them. Understood. We're moving to rejoin the injured, then we'll head to the shuttle. Tell the pilot to wait for us. We aren't done here. Carrying the mind-breaking equipment, having barely conscious civilians to help be mobile, injured. Um, injured hunters in similar situation, and prisoner who might attempt to escape if given the chance. Returning to the docks was slow and tedious, but fortunately with few encounters and no further injuries on their side. The secured Earthers glared as the group walked by their hatch on the way to the shuttle, and Jeremy broke rank to hurry to the cockpit. I repeat, that's a Tahonian Arakmas dreadnought coming at you, Bane. The engineering is somewhere under the ship. Check the records. The design is documented. This is pilot Tommy Remortoral. You have a... We're here. Jimmy said, it's going to be packed. We have a lot of people, and there are even more that... His friend was out of the seat. We can't leave in this. Tom, we can't stay here. We're going to have Earthers who will realize this is the only place we can come to. Even more reason to not be here. Stop what you're doing, he told the hunters who were helping the civilians into seats. Pilot, we need... Really, Beta? You're going to argue orders on my shuttle? Jeremy was surprised when that got through to close his muzzle. Here's the situation, Tom said. Out there is the kind of battle ballads you don't even... The battle ballads don't even have to try to make epic. More ship than can be counted against a lone one. We go in there in this shuttle and we're all dead. I thought you were the best pilot on the Bane, a hunter said. I am, but this is an unarmed shuttle, and those are ships with way too many weapons for anyone to want to mess with. The moment we undock, we become a target. What are our options then? The other Beta asked. Tom smiled. We got ourselves a different ship. Of course, I believe there's one just waiting for us, a bunch of docks spinwise. That's an Earther ship, Thor said. And someone meddled to give me an Earther shuttle on which to learn. Shuttles aren't ships, a hunter said. They're close enough. And hunters like to make everything the same. We standardize for efficiency, Jeremy said in exasperation when the hunters looked at him. But that means Tom is mostly right. What he learned on the shuttle should carry over. But a shuttle is fine with just a pilot, the other Beta said. Ships aren't. They need crews. Jeremy smiled. You already have an engineer, and you have a bunch of Earthers with experience flying that ship tied at its hatch. Can we be sure they aren't going to make... Can we be sure that I'm going to make sure... Okay. Can we be sure they aren't going to signal the other ships, telling them who we are? Third side. If there's one thing you can count on the Hollands, regardless of the species, is that there is their desire to survive. If any of those ships find out who's on board, they will destroy it, and them along with it. Tom rubbed his hand. Good. With that settled, I have a new ship to get friendly with. And with it being so much larger, the other Beta said, doesn't that give us the space to put all those pods in? Instead of leaving them here and hope we can come back for them? We split forces, Thur said. My pack... Actually, no. My pack is with the pilot. We'll make sure the Earthers know where they stand. We'll also see to the injured, rescued, and prisoners. Beta, Grunlock, Torel, Rosharak, you and the rest of your pack bring the pods. And pods. Okay, we need speed since we don't know how long we have before we can't stay here anymore. Beta Zorfiel Fras Gormilan status still working. If we knew where the servers were, it'd be faster to pull them out and do the work once we're back on the Bane. Alteration to the hunt. Thur gave the rundown of the changes. Going through the inventory now, a new voice said. Found industrial transport hover plates and establishing a route to get them on the way to the blacked out section. You'll be on your own from where for how to fit them once you get there, but at worst, you won't have to move them as far. Got it, the beta said. Receive the route and in motion. Jer, go see to the reactor, make sure they haven't sabotaged it, as Beta instructed, and he hurried to the other ship. And that concludes chapter 36 of The Technician's Fight. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is available on Ream Story. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.